You ever wonder why we're here? It's one of life's great mysteries, isn't it?
Hi, and welcome to the Funhaus Podcast. This week we'll be discussing the 2023 Ari Aster smash hit psychodrama comedy opus Beau is Afraid, formerly Disappointment Boulevard. I have the only two people here that, in the office that have seen the film.
In the city, I think.
In the whole city, maybe. Charlotte and Jacob.
Well, we could have brought on the couple that was in the theater with me, but they left at the 2-hour mark.
Whoa.
I also had, I was in a packed house on like the Friday it was released limited in LA, and we probably had at least 15 to 20 walkouts.
You had walkouts in yours.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had a pretty full
we both
theater.
did.
Really?
Yeah, that was
Wow.
that couple. They left at the 2-hour mark.
Oh, I
They
guess,
left.
yeah, that's true.
And obviously we can't talk about this film without giving incredibly big spoilers. So this will be full of spoilers. And so starting with right now, specifically everyone left, a lot of people left during the giant penis monster scene.
Okay, yeah. I will say, if you didn't leave before that and you're just here, like, I think you'll enjoy this, even if you have no interest in
Yeah.
the film.
Yeah.
I like
totally.
this movie.
I like this movie too. That's the worst part. It's too long.
Yeah,
It's really long.
okay, yeah. Let's get that out of the
we
way. Let's go back. Okay, you say you like the movie. I mean, do you have any? do you just like the movie? Or is there any
I
commentary?
mean, I was going to get it deeper into it because we got
Sure.
a lot to talk about. But what the heck is this movie even about?
Well, okay, we're not going to get to
Yeah.
that point yet. I don't think I like the movie.
You don't think you
overall.
liked the
Yeah,
movie,
you
okay.
know, I definitely enjoyed parts of it. You know, there was things I loved even throughout the movie. That it's doing that I really like too, and just the way it was shot and everything. But then there was parts of this movie I think I kind of hated, or was either a big slog, or felt really pretentious, or just too
yeah.
stupid. You know, which is weird for me to say because I love my.
I'm curious. I know we don't want to just jump into it, but I'm curious which parts were too stupid.
Yeah. Those
Just-
parts, I think I was too stupid.
It's less that it's too stupid and more just like obviously, like you just alluded to, you kind of are like, all right, what is this all amounting to? What is the point of this? So to me, there's a certain point in the film where I'm like, I don't think this is about anything, or I don't think that this section really seemingly is adding anything to this story. Maybe I'm wrong.
Do you have
Which We'll
examples?
talk about. Yeah, let's talk about it here.
Yeah, I want to
soon.
hear what
Let's-
your thoughts were.
first-
It'll also help me remember what happened.
Yeah, well, I don't have like I think it'll be funny just because it's so long and rambling for us to just basically say, let's give everyone the plot logline of the thing.
Let's get the biggest thing out of the way first. This movie is way too fucking long.
Yeah, that's that's obviously the
hours.
worst part of the film.
That is the worst part.
Is how long it is. It's punishingly long. By the end of it, especially once the credits rolled, I could feel the energy in my theater where people were kind of furious.
Yeah, people were kind of irate in mine, but it was just so. I don't know. I thought we were at the end stretch, and then there's another half hour.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it just keeps going. And I'm not usually the first to complain about a long movie.
Oh, I totally am.
You are. You and James talk about it all the time.
Yeah, I hate
Patrick
it.
as well.
I don't mind
I'm
long
sure-
movies.
Okay, so Jacob and I, we're part of the long movie caucus.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm a big tar head. I
I know
love
you
drive
are.
my car. I wasn't too bothered by the Batman's length, although I kind of am because I don't think I'm gonna see it again.
Mm-hmm.
But like this one, I was like, and I
feel it.
like Dune. I like Dune a lot.
Yeah.
But like watching this, I was like, oh my god. I was
Yeah.
like- and like not just like that there's too much movie, is that there's not enough movie for 3 hours.
Absolutely.
Because there are some things, like I just watched Blade Runner 2049, and that is a movie that it does wear its length pretty much on its sleeve, but there's so much there that it fills that space. And I think you can make an argument either way. But this one, it's just like, it's sparse.
It's like an
it's
emaciated
top
man
loaded.
in a
Yeah.
huge
Like
jacket.
it gets quieter as it goes on. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, I just wanted to say that.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned it in recordings and stuff before, but yeah, if you can earn your 3-hour long runtime, I'm totally cool with it. There's plenty of 3-hour long movies I'm into that were made by the masters. You know, obviously the Goodfellas or Titanic or something like that.
Dinotopia. It was
Dinotopia.
technically a series of TV specials.
But
Yeah.
man, this
Dino.
does not to me deserve to be 3 hours, and that really is a big check mark against it. So anyway, what this movie's about, we'll try to recap it best
do
we
our
can.
darndest.
It's this guy named Beau.
Titular Beau.
It starts with him being born in the
Joaquin
womb.
Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix. And it's essentially his mom dies, seemingly. She gets a chandelier dropped on her head.
Yes.
And he has to go to the funeral, obviously. But while he's packing, and somebody steals his keys and his bags.
Yes.
Right?
Basically, everything goes wrong.
Everything goes wrong. And then the rest of the movie is basically him trying to make it to his mom's funeral. But a whole bunch of wacky hijinks ensue, including him getting hit by a car by Nathan Lane. And
Naked.
They're naked, and they're
And he
while
gets
he's
stabbed
trying
by the birthday boy stabber.
while he's
Stab man.
trying to get buy a glass of water, right? Or a
No,
a
that was
bottle of
after
water.
he ventures out a couple times. That's when he's in the tub, and then he looks up and the guy's like, "Help me!"
Oh yeah,
Help me.
there's somebody hiding in his tub.
That
That's
was one of
weird.
the few actual scares.
Yeah, it scared me. I was like, oh my God.
I don't know. I guess we can start there. So it starts in his apartment, this like shithole in like would be the most suburban person's greatest fear about what a city is.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Fox News' view of
And
the city.
it's so funny.
Just like
I thought-
graffiti, people killing each other in the streets.
I liked because it was like someone turning the dial all the way up, which is what I like. Obviously, I'm not saying I'm making things on the same sort of caliber and
Yeah.
level as Ari Aster or even film, but like when I do something, I like to layer out. I know you guys do it too, but like I'm thinking about like gift guide because I like when it's like everything constantly and
Yeah.
it's so
Super
overwhelming, and then
heightened.
you super like go between those moods and like just like. There are two guys constantly wrestling with one having his eyes gouged out,
Gouged
just
out.
screaming, just like ah! And then there's like another people stabbing. There's a guy that drops his soup, and there's like a corpse in the intersection. And it, Joaquin Phoenix, Beau, is the most afraid man. He's the most anxious. It's hard to watch him at first because he's the most anxious man.
Yeah.
And like watching him contend with it, I don't know. That was my favorite parts of the movie were the ones where like
On the street.
when he's buying a bottle of water and he's propped open the door because he doesn't have his keys, and then just
Yeah,
like the
because he
unwashed
needs to
masses just all shuffle in. There's like a really
Yeah.
tall guy.
Because he's trying to he needs the water because he needed to take his meds, but he doesn't,
Yes.
the water in his apartment's shut off. So he's got just like these meds in his throat, and he reads the label, says you'll die if you.
It just
Don't
says
take this
absolutely don't
correctly.
take with water, and it's like if someone
take
has
without water.
anxiety, or
Yeah.
don't take with water, and like anxiety like gets in your head where you're like, oh my god, I didn't do this menial step, now I'm gonna die.
Yeah, it's like the worst possible outcome for every minor mistake.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, exactly.
Is
like
part of
you,
the beginning
you
of
know,
this
how
movie.
often have you like been like, I just have to leave my keys in the door for a second while I run back into the
Yeah.
house, and then like, oh no, they've been stolen. Like it's so good, and like it's so funny. Like this movie's really funny when
Yeah.
it's like hitting.
I agree. Yeah, the world building aspect of the whole street he's on and just how fucked up it is great.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Quick side note, because I latched onto some of the stuff that I was seeing in the background. It's just I laughed unreasonably hard. And it was like a poorly drawn image of a man with an erect penis
Yes.
pissing over up into the air into his own mouth with the caption "Don't mind if I do."
Yes, yeah. The graffiti felt so real.
Don't mind if I do. Just pissing into your own mouth.
It's just awesome, and like his life is such a nightmare, and he's such a sad, just grotesquely
Just a lumpy little
fearful,
man.
lumpy, pathetic creature.
Well, okay, that gets us to basically what do we make of all this? Like, in terms of, like I said, the world building is great, but to what end? What is the point of it all? Is it a big just metaphor for anxiety in itself? Or
No, I
like,
don't think
is
so.
Is it even real? How much of this is like actually
How he views the world.
Yeah, is it
Or
a totally unreliable narrator, kind of just his perception of the universe, or does it even matter? What is y'all's thoughts on all that?
I figure it doesn't really matter. Like it's just like it's how he views the world, and that is enough to like motivate him or hold him back.
Yeah. I don't think. I mean, it's very surreal,
Yeah.
and a lot of it is open to interpretation. But like, this is a movie about him and his mother, which is what spurs this whole like epic voyage, because it is like a fucking odyssey, is what it feels like. And like, I don't know, I'm already a little fuzzy on the movie. Like, there's already stuff I don't remember. But I guess like the whole chain of events is brought on by the passing of his mother, which at one point he's feeling grief. Like he's like in shock. He stands there for however many hours after he finds out, and he still doesn't know for sure, but like they're pretty sure. And then, but also like, it's like almost like you're watching like this character grow for the first time because he's not like living in relation or under control of his mother, who even after she dies, her presence is felt everywhere in the movie and in the world because her company, which the logo is shown at the beginning, the MW thing is ever present. It's like if she were like a Walton. So like, I don't know. I feel like we actually do see him like grow and achieve things and see what his life could be or could have been if things had gone differently or if he could still do things differently.
In the theater troupe part.
Yeah, which went too long, way too long in my opinion. But like, I don't know, like it's like you see him like struggle with this like internal and external like fight that causes him this anxiety. And like the second he like gets a win, he just gets knocked back, but like he continues on forward. I don't know, like that's really summed up, not to jump ahead too far, but with the Parker Posey stuff, which was amazing.
It's a constant like it always comes up. It's like anytime he does just like a little something for himself, like something that's just like even the tiniest bit selfish, he gets punished horribly for it, like disproportionately for what he decided to do. Like, oh, he didn't pack his floss. Well, his luggage and his key got stolen, and he can't go visit his mom, and then she gets crushed by a chandelier.
Exactly, yes.
Which is like ties in, that's like the whole guilt thing. It's like, it doesn't really explicitly say it in the movie. It's like, oh, like, in this situation, it's like, if I had made it home tonight, maybe she wouldn't have gotten crushed by a chandelier, which ends up tying into the end of the movie.
I think guilt is, if you were forced to sum up the themes of this movie, I think guilt and just neuroses in general is it. The way Ari Aster, he's in a bunch of interviews and he describes the movie in really funny ways. It doesn't really tell you what is really in his head, I think, but it kind of gives you an idea. He calls it like a Jewish Lord of the Rings.
That's true. That's true.
He said, I wanted to make a movie that was like a video game, but where your character can't do anything and none of the buttons work. Sure.
That's great.
But then he
You
also...
really do feel powerless watching this sad sack operate. You're like, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Speak, do something.
This person in the interview also said, like, so what is this movie trying to say? And according to Oster, it couldn't be more straightforward. He goes, I worry it's too obvious. Like, it's right there. There's nothing to talk about. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This whole movie seems like it's begging to be interpreted, in different ways. So, yeah. Any thoughts on all those things?
Death of the author, all that.
Oh, yeah. I think his other movies might have been a little more straightforward because I didn't have that many questions after either Hereditary or Midsommar.
Yeah, and in terms of our relation to those movies, for me, I like Midsommar so much. I liked it more than Hereditary.
That's your favorite?
That's my favorite of his movies so far. And then Hereditary, I feel like other people like it more than me. It's still good, but like this is by far my least favorite of his.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all have seen the short film that this is based on, Beau. Mm-mm. It's basically just the scene of a dude getting his keys and bag stolen. It's like just that scene in the movie,
right?
Which I was like, okay, that's.
I mean, you bring up like the short film that it's based on. It feels like this whole movie is just made out of short films. Like you can just take that whole beginning bit before he goes on his journey, and like there it is. That's the short film, and it's fine.
Yeah, which I think works. That's part of the epic, right?
Yeah.
Like I haven't really read the classics in a long time, but I remember when I was in school and I did read them. That is like a lot of it, like. Just wash up on the shores of like a different place.
Yeah.
And then you have that kind of experience. Then you get washed away. You're not with the Lotus Eaters anymore. I don't know. I'm remembering it fondly as the like bits between things that go super long start to fade.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's just so funny and jarring. Like I think I guess if we want to just continue on, we could talk about The Suburbs with Nathan Lane and what's her name? Amy
the paint
Ryan?
Girl.
Yeah, the paint girl. That scene was awesome.
That was disturbing.
Yeah, it's like the whole like kind of second act. There's
second of 6 or 7 acts.
Sure. Where like after he gets hit by the car naked because he's like
that was the best scene in the movie to me.
Where he's running around naked. Because he's running away from the guy, right? That falls out of his ceiling.
Right. Yeah. Well. Yes. Yeah. He's running from those people, and then he runs into the street naked and then gets hit by the ambulance.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then we find out was stabbed after he got hit by the car.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
And
yeah.
Oh God.
It's like it's the whole breaking down the whole series of events because like he goes to take a bath because why not, and that's why you get your first glimpse of his absolutely enormous scrotum.
Oh,
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Huge
Yes.
balls.
It was
And
like I saw it at the top of the screen. I was like, "What was that?"
yeah, it was perfectly cut too, because it wasn't like they focused on
legs.
it. It's just enough
Yeah.
where I'm like, did I just see a huge pair of nuts right there? Sure enough, I did.
And like it wasn't until much later that I'm like, I think Nathan Lane brings it up like your testicles are quite distended. I'm like, oh, they were really big.
Now I'm just putting this actually together.
Look at Rick's face.
Remind me the reasoning that we get for that in the movie. Like, why are his balls so big?
Oh, because he has never
Okay,
ejaculated.
that I actually don't think I don't think I had really put that together until right now. That it was because his mom convinced him that
Yeah, that
if
his all of it, his dad, his grandpa, the whole line.
they've only
all
came
died.
once. Yeah, they
Before
came once and they had each
That
other.
heart murmur.
That heart murmur, and so he was convinced that if he ever came, that he'd die. So that's why his balls were so big. Okay, that makes a lot of
Curious,
sense.
yeah, interesting. Yeah,
That's how it works.
Kind of forgot about that part. And then, yeah, obviously he wasn't. So that brings me to a good point. His mom told him that.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, also, a part of this movie is almost like Beau's been abused basically by his
yeah.
mom, like into
Yes.
being racked with
Yeah, I
guilt
mean,
about everything his entire life. And
He's
she
guilty about
controls
his
him.
own existence because his
Uh-huh.
conception killed the only man that she loved.
Now, do you think that this is is Ari Aster trying to make a universal statement about something like this, or is this
About
just
Jewish mothers?
a very specific thing to either his life or just this character's life? I don't know.
I mean, I was reading a lot about this. It's not an experience I have had, but
Uh-huh.
like the
Me neither.
overbearing, cock-blocking Jewish mother is apparently like a pretty well-trod, if not trope, like cliche or
Got it.
stereotype. And I think, I mean, like he's pretty tight-lipped about his own experiences with like, I don't know, maternal. Familial stuff. I mean, you look at this movie, you look at the inciting incident of Midsummer,
Mhm.
you look at every single part of Hereditary. He's got some thoughts. So I don't
About
know
the
if
family unit.
I think they can be read generally, like about the role like a mother plays, because like the first place he ends up in the suburbs. Like, is her name Amy Ryan? Do I have the right
I don't
actor's
remember.
name? Well, the woman there.
Amy Ryan from The Butterfly Effect.
I might have that wrong, but the woman there like effectively takes on like a mothering role because she wants her son replaced.
Yeah.
Right.
And he wants his mom
true.
to be
He
different.
He was killed in
Yeah.
action.
That was so funny when they're all just sitting there looking. And I don't know. This movie had a lot of fun little things to say. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like obviously horror and comedy are so close because it's so much about discomfort, composition, timing. Like all the things that make great horror also are great for comedy and vice versa. I mean, we've seen it happen with Jordan Peele, Josh Rubin from College Humor. Like, it's so close. So to see Ari Aster like do this like makes me excited about the prospect of maybe future endeavors like that. He's not pigeonholed, which I like. Like this
Yeah.
movie is scary and discomforting, but like that's some of the funniest stuff. Like the like shell-shocked vet that lives in a VW van outside of their house who just screams. It's just
Yeah.
like it's awesome. It's so cool.
He ends up becoming this kind of like terrifying force of nature for the rest of the movie.
Yes.
Who always shows up to chase Beau the next part of the story.
You know he's coming.
Yeah, I mean,
And he
like,
trips in the woods and he's just
Oh,
well, he's shooting his machine gun.
yeah, his
As
machine
he
gun
shows
through
up,
his
just,
shoulder.
like Beau ends up in this like theater troupe in the woods, and this vet comes running out with his full auto gun blazing, and then falls on top of it as it's firing.
Yeah,
and
and-
it's just shooting bullets through his shoulder,
screaming.
to some, like,
fully
poor
automatic.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do allude that like when he was deployed, they found him shooting his own men. So you're like, did he shoot their son? Like it's
Yeah.
kind of like just up to interpretation, and it's
Yeah.
so funny. That's the thing like with Beau is like, I guess this is different. Just like every small anxiety you have, like, what if I leave my keys? What if I got too high? What if my therapist is telling people things that I say to them? And
Yeah.
like everything like comes to pass. And
Yeah.
it's like it makes his personal growth completely impossible.
And like, say what you will about this movie, but like it's too long and stuff, but like I laughed at this one more than any of like Hereditary or Midsommar. Like
I
I
think
just
I
got
would
a
be
kick out of a lot of
concerned,
parts
yeah.
of this one.
I feel like I had it wasn't so much like ha ha laughter and more just like, what in the fuck is
Yeah.
happening in a good way? I mean, like there's times where I'm like, all right, he's going here. I
Yeah.
never expected it to go there, but
Like just the way it
to what end?
escalates, like at the very beginning when he needs to run across the street, get a water bottle.
Uh-huh.
So he props the door open with a phone book, and then when he's in the store on the other side of the street, he sees all of the vagrants and like murderous ne'er-do-wells turn towards the open door and all flood in and go
Yeah.
to his apartment.
They go party in his
It's
place.
so funny. Just the way it escalates, like every wrong turn with how bad it gets is so funny.
Have y'all ever seen the movie Wrong by
No.
Quentin Dupieux?
No.
In that it's a similar cool world building exercise where basically just everything that happens is wrong, quote unquote. Like just things that wouldn't happen in reality are happening, but everyone kind of acts like they're real. I'm trying to, I don't remember any good examples, but it's like, I felt like that a little bit with this movie where the world is the point of the movie almost.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Yeah, it's the way
almost like,
he sees it.
yeah, it's Anxiety, the movie, but told in this really heightened, cartoony way.
Yeah.
And obviously, and it's super long probably for that reason too. It's like he just wants to make a statement with how long and just dense this crazy movie is. Another thing he said in terms of describing, he said he wanted the ending to feel like going through the guts of a man and coming out his ass. Does that description
Is
mean
this all
anything
from
to
one
y'all?
interview?
Yes, on Den of Geek.
Going through the guts of a man and coming out the ass.
I mean, I will say, like, it was kind of just like a gross, grimy movie sometimes. Where,
Uh-huh.
like, everything was just like I need to wash my hands
Yeah, I felt very unsettling.
after a scene. Like, it's just kind of, I just felt uncomfortable a lot. Which, like, when a movie
yeah.
makes me feel like that, I'm like, I feel like that's good.
I mean, yeah, I called my girlfriend afterwards and I was like, I don't think I liked that. But now coming off of it, I'm like, I do like that.
Yeah.
I'm just really like torn
weird.
on it. I don't know. There's so much to like about it. If it had not been so long. I think if it had been like 2 hours, maybe 2:30.
I feel like I could take the movie and cut it to a movie that I would really like.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame that I was so exhausted by the time the god Richard Kind shows up.
Uh-huh.
Because like we've been hearing his voice and I was like, I knew who that motherfucker is.
Yeah.
I know exactly who that motherfucker is. A man from the other most Jewish movie, A Serious Man. So like when he does turn up, I was like, all right, I don't want to keep watching this movie, but like, yeah, let me see what Richard Kind has to say. And that part was great also too, like the idea that you get to the end and then you're judged on your every single decision you've made in your life.
Yeah, so let's get to the end. So obviously, Beau finally makes it. He finds out that his mom faked her own death, basically to just see how he would react.
Yeah, to make him feel bad.
to make him feel bad again and guilty. And then he gets tried in this kangaroo court and found guilty of all of the
in
things.
like an arena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a giant
in a
cave.
giant arena, and it's very much.
Because you think he's out.
Huh?
You think he's out.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
he
It
runs
frames
away,
it as
gets
just
in the
like,
boat.
Right, which had been telegraphed in the play, remember, right? Because we see his entire life in the play, and then there's like the boat. You see like
it's
a
couple
flash.
glimpses.
There's
Well, you also
glimpses.
see when he's fast forwarding the TV in the
That's
house.
right.
Yeah, he sees
Yeah.
the boat.
At a certain point, they literally fast forward time.
They fast forward the movie.
They fast forward through the movie a la Funny Games. or-
Yes, just like funny games. Yeah, I was
Michelle
thinking that when I saw
Haneke.
that.
But also the end of the movie is very much like Albert Brooks is defending your life. Have you all seen that movie?
No.
No, but I like Albert Brooks.
Well, you should definitely see this movie. And Ari Aster is a big fan of the movie too. So
Oh, that
like, and
makes sense.
he said that before. So I'm like, oh, once it got to the end, I'm like, oh, this is just straight out of Defending Your Life. The whole movie of Defending Your Life is Albert Brooks dies and then he goes to heaven or purgatory and has to defend all of his actions throughout
Yeah.
his childhood and stuff. You know, it's like a court thing. So
Yeah.
that's the end of this movie.
He even
too.
had like a defendant too, but it was just like some poor public.
Oh, defending
defender.
lawyer, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
even
was
said
so
like
funny.
1-800 defense above the lawyer, and like they don't even have a microphone. They're just like yelling out. You can
Yeah.
barely hear what they're saying.
Which is the kind of representation that Beau would have.
Yeah, right before that, attorney gets Midsommar into some rocks.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
forgot
Yep.
about
He
that.
does love doing that. He loves dashing people upon rocks.
Yeah, which is pretty great. I'm
yeah,
down with
it's
that.
it ended very quietly, and I was like, yeah, I guess I don't know how else it would have ended. He's just doomed. He's just doomed to always be that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, did the end happen literally? Is that Did that arena exist, or was that in his mind? I mean, explain it for me, Jacob.
Who knows how far this mother would go? She clearly has a lot of money, so
That's true.
Get all those
Yeah, she is
people
a
in there.
Walton.
That's true.
yeah.
But no, it's totally detached, right? Sorry,
Yeah.
I cut you off.
No,
Yeah.
you're right.
I think like however it happens, however this movie decides to end, whether it's like some weird like psycho dream world or something way more literal, all that matters is that he just gives up and resigns himself to this horrible existence where he just feels guilty all the time, and so he just explodes.
Well, so wait, so you think he gives up and then I mean he couldn't really do anything. He was just on that boat.
Yeah, like that struck me as like he's finally resigned himself to this. He's not going to fight it anymore, and he's just going to give up.
Okay, Charlotte, what was your interpretation of the very end when he explodes and then everyone walks out of the theater in
Pretty
silence?
silently, yeah.
Yeah, just
I
like in the
mean,
movie.
he's not happy about it. He's not resigning himself. He's not
Yeah.
sitting quietly. I never really stopped to wonder if it was literal at all, because I think I checked that at the door hours prior.
Yeah, I
Because
feel ya.
everything that happens in this movie is like just like a fantastic, like almost like what if, like a hypothetical, like what if the most anxious man actually bore the brunt and consequences that he feared for every action. And like this seems like the natural endpoint to that like your every minute decision you make trying to live your own life in agency, like it's going to kill you one day. And so like I mean, it's definitely, I don't think it's literal, but I think it is in terms of this world. Like, this is just how, like, the most saturated version of the world he experiences. And so, like, this may be, like, what his greatest fear is or what he sees at the end of all
Yeah.
this. I don't really know. I'm not actually too worried about it.
Yeah.
Well,
As
I
far
think-
as the movie goes, I was like, I buy this. This makes sense to
Yeah,
me.
he gets crushed
yeah.
under the weight of it all.
I think what you
At
just
long
said
last.
is a good way to, it's more of like a metaphor for his anxious feelings almost.
Yeah.
And the logical conclusion to being that way,
Yeah.
being how this man-child.
Can we talk about the Parker Posey scene?
Oh, please.
Yes.
In detail.
This
Yes.
shit was so funny.
It's probably
She's
the most
such a good
ordinary
actress.
thing in the movie. It's just
I
like
can
this
never
whole
place her.
romance
Every
scene.
time I see her face, I'm like, who is that?
Have you ever seen-
Is that Elizabeth
Oh,
Banks?
yeah.
Oh no!
Waiting for Guffman. She's great in it. Have you ever seen House of Yes?
No, I have seen Waiting for God.
It's the best JFK assassination-based incest film
Oh,
you'll ever see.
sick.
House of Yes. I'm gonna add
Yeah.
that to my list.
But yeah, how does he end up here?
That was
with
probably a
Parker
spoiler.
Posey?
Sorry.
Okay, I'm crossing that off my list.
Just kidding.
Okay, it's going back
Yeah,
on.
you should see it. Let's see. Oh, wait. Oh, you know what? It's time for an ad.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we'll come back and talk.
We'll come
about
back
it?
and talk about the sex scene here in a second. And come stay for the message. Stay after the messages. We'll talk about sex. See you soon. Most of the time, shopping for birthdays and other celebrations is fun. But when it comes to shopping for those closest to me, it's such a struggle to find a meaningful gift that they'll actually love. Luckily, Aura frames are a great and thoughtful option for any gift-giving occasion. Named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter, New York Mag, and Wired, Aura frames are the easiest gift for all the occasions coming up on your calendar and the perfect addition to your home. Simply connect to your Wi-Fi and use the free Aura app to add unlimited pics and videos from anywhere in the world with no fees ever. Me and my brothers and sister all got one for my mommy, and she really loves looking at all of our pictures just constantly rotating through the Aura frame. She thinks it's great, and your mommy will love it too. You can even preload frames with your favorite pics so they're ready to enjoy upon delivery. With over 3 million users, it's safe to say that the Aura magic is very real. You heard that right. Real magic. Right now, listeners can take advantage of Aura's best-selling Carver frames at their lowest price yet this time of year at $149. Just go to auraframes.com. That's A-U-R-A frames.com. And viewers and listeners can use code FHPOD to get free shipping at checkout. Don't miss out on the gift of a lifetime. Terms and conditions apply. This podcast is brought to you by Sunday. It seems like every spring I find myself standing at the store wondering which products won't use harmful chemicals on my lawn. And when I do find seemingly all-natural products, they usually cost a small fortune. Well, that's where Sunday Lawn Care comes in. And right now, you can get your very own customized plan at getsunday.com/FHpod. You know who uses this all the time? Our very own Patrick Brown. And he says it's amazing, and he vouches for it completely. No harsh chemicals, no long waiting periods, or trying to keep your kids and pets off the lawn. Simply apply, let it dry, and you're back to enjoying your yard. And you don't have to make any trips to the store or haul heavy bags, since Sunday products ship straight to your home. As long as you have a hose, you're good to go. Sunday doesn't only have high-quality products, but it's also super affordable. Some lawn care services cost more than $1,500 a year, but Sunday's full-season plans start at just 109 buckaroos. And Sunday is offering our listeners 20% off. Full season plans start at just 109 bucks, and you can get 20% off when you visit getsunday.com/FHpod at checkout. That's 20% off your custom plan at getsunday.com/FHpod. Yeah. And we're back to talk about the sex scene between Joaquin Phoenix and Parker Posey.
And boy,
Charlotte,
is it one.
what was your thoughts on the sex scene?
What are my thoughts on one of the most powerful orgasms captured on screen?
Yes.
It filmed in cinema history.
Are you talking about Parker's or Joaquin's when he thought he was going to
Joaquin's.
die?
When he's like,
Joaquin specifically.
no!
Yeah, when he's like,
Stop! Oh, God, no!
I was laughing so hard
I was like,
while he was having this
it was
orgasm.
so funny. And he's like,
when he literally said, I thought I was going to die.
I thought I was going to die.
I cracked up, yeah.
Somehow the most relatable thing in the whole movie. I thought I was going to die. Because it's like he has spent his whole life in fear that boning down will kill him like it killed his father and his father's father before him. But he's also so submissive that when it's happening to him, he can't stop it. And maybe it's morbid curiosity. Maybe it's because it's the woman that he's been pining after his entire life since she was torn away from him on a fateful cruise ship.
She asked him to wait for her.
She asked him to wait for him. And then he finds her, and this, knockout, Parker Posey, 10, dime piece. She's like, Beau.
Yeah, it's like a fairy tale or something.
He looks like shit.
He
looks
bloody.
awful. Yeah. And so, they get in bed, right? And it's just it's so perfect that he actually can do this.
Yeah.
And actually he's like, what have I been living in fear of? You can see the clouds clear up, and then she's like, hang on, I want to finish. And then, big spoilers if you haven't left yet for some reason, but then he's like, oh, what's going on with you? And then she's just fucking...
Cuts to her, just
she's dead.
She's dead. She's in rigor mortis.
Burst, blood vessels in her
capillaries
eyes.
in her eyes are all red and burst, and she's just fucking dead with, her hand positioned.
Yeah. She's he was too good.
It was so funny that
It was all the cum
maybe
that-
she
from his
also
whole
had
life.
the heart murmur because she was fine after he came. She's like, I want to as well.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny that this guy is so afraid that having sex will kill him, kills the first woman he has sex with. And the thing happens to her. So he's like, if it's not gonna happen to me, it could still happen to someone else.
Yeah.
And so if he kept living, he would be just as afraid.
Yeah.
If not more. And if another woman came into his life, he would probably still let it happen.
Yeah.
He'd be like, no, I can't. It was so much. You see the hero shot of his big clanging balls.
Oh my God, they keep showing it from the foot of the bed. It's like she's sitting on a
two
beanbag
softballs.
chair.
Yeah, it's so funny. And she's stealing jewelry before he comes in. She clearly resents his mother.
Yeah, because they're in his mother's house after
Yes,
her
in
funeral.
her bed.
Yeah.
And that says so much about the only time he has sex is in his mother's bed right after she dies, the day of her funeral. And it's the fucking Oedipal shit between these two is you want to talk about another classic, another epic, goddamn. Goddamn.
I was actually going to go there because, you could make some weird psycho-Freudian case about, did his mom tell him that not to ever comes? Because it's almost like she wanted them all for herself.
Or she's just controlling.
It's no one can ever
control the world.
No one can ever get pleasure from my little
universe,
boy.
sorry.
Yeah. I mean, there's scenes early on. It's a flashback to when he's on some yacht trip with his mom or something. They're laying in bed together. She's kind of talking to him sensually and stuff.
Yeah, those
about
are the vibes.
him being her
Gross.
little man and
man.
stuff. Nothing ever happens between them, but it's still very strange.
He also there's this version of her that he remembers, which is like the younger, more attractive,
Yeah.
like knockout that plays the young mother. And then there's brief moments when you see like the older woman, and it's like that's like his idealized vision of his mother, and then like the actual woman that she became and treated him as, and like, oh man, that shit was so funny when she died.
Yeah.
It was
The way
like
he, like-
seriously one of the best moments in any movie I've seen
Yeah,
in a while.
probably one of my favorites. The way he like throws her onto the floor.
Yeah,
She's
it's just like, bang!
she's like a statue.
Yeah, when they carry her out, like I kept waiting for them to like, oops, like knock her elbows or knees into a door frame. Like that was the vibe.
Oh, good
I mean,
Lord.
it's worth seeing the movie for that alone.
For that
Yeah.
scene, I agree.
You would think, in a matter of speaking, that that's the climax, but it keeps going for like another
Yeah.
45 minutes to an hour.
There's
Like
a lot of
For better or
exposition
worse.
after that.
there's a lot after that. I don't know. Yeah, the movie lost steam for me after that, but also it was like,
Yeah.
it's just
I mean, the recurring stuff about his like virility and stuff was always so funny. Like about like there's that really long scene where he goes with the theater troupe and he's watching it, and it turns into this like crazy animated like hero's journey that he like inserts himself into,
Mm-hmm.
and then it also mixes in all his weird like thoughts about the world. It's like, you will marry a woman and have sex with her to make a child. And
Yeah.
it's so bizarre. And then because of like how that all mixes in, it gets to the end and he reunites with his 3 children after
His
he's just an
boys.
old man, his 3 beautiful boys. And he talks about how like, oh, like I can't ever have an orgasm because my dad died and stuff. And then his kids are like, well, how did you have us? And that takes him out of it, and that part just ends.
Yeah. Because you know it's coming. You're in the audience, and like obviously you know it's not real. But even there is a moment where you're like, "This is going on a long time."
Yeah,
Is
it's
this,
been like 15 minutes.
Is this real? Like, am I wrong? And then it's just like, but Dad, if you never shot rope, how could you have us?
Yeah. And then it's over. And then it goes right back to the
Yeah, and then
movie.
he's just standing there. He's young again.
It felt so long, which honestly, it feels like the length really made that part hit harder.
And we've kind of touched on that part, but like the point of that scene, it's to see what his life would have been like without his mom's overbearing.
It's the power of theater, power of live theater and performance.
Yeah.
Of course.
Which is immediately followed by, what's his name, like Jeeves
Yeah, Jeeves.
comes
Tear
out
him
tearing out
apart,
the forest
Jeeves!
with his machine gun.
Well, he blows up the lead of the play.
Yeah.
Like, there are these, like, fantastic moments of violence and panic that are mostly driven by Jeeves in the latter part of the movie. Like, do we want to talk about the dick in the room?
Oh yeah, we should talk about the dick in the room.
Still trying to unpack that one.
It's huge.
Which is another great Jeeves part.
yeah,
Just like using a veteran as a story technique to like, I need to move the plot along. I'm going to put an insane man suffering the most PTSD.
Yeah.
Like, he's just running down.
He just
Yes.
runs after Beau with a gun. That's it.
I really do like this movie a lot.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I do.
Oof.
I'm realizing it, talking about it, how much I appreciate it, but like, I don't think I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
No,
Well, it's like fun to talk about and think about. Now that we're not sitting here watching it.
I think I could maybe watch it at home with someone.
Yeah.
Where like I can pause it and go to the bathroom and I can like have a drink.
I feel like it would be fun to just have on in the background of a
Where you're
party
not
or
captive.
something.
A party?
Yeah.
You don't have to pay attention to every minute of
Yeah. But yeah,
the
that
180 minutes.
it was a penis monster.
Yeah, we should talk about his dad.
Yeah, so he goes up into the attic where he was locked as a child,
Yeah.
right?
Quickly, like before,
No.
like he keeps having these like
Yeah.
flashbacks to seeing his
A
mom.
dream, he calls
Yeah, a
it.
dream where he's like watching his younger self getting locked up in the attic by his mother,
That's
and he
right.
interprets it as that's me, and my mom is putting me in the attic as
Yeah.
like it's some kind of that's her locking away my like true self and stuff. But then she gives him the revelation later that like that wasn't a dream, it was a memory. And she locks him in the attic, and up
Yep.
there is that little boy all grown up in his little boy clothes.
It's an emaciated Beau.
Yeah.
With a huge beard, chained to the wall.
And I thought that was what it was going to be. And then it pans over and you're just like, Beau.
Does it say Beau?
It does.
A giant veiny penis monster.
With
Enormous.
like pincers, with like praying
Little, like, praying
mantis-esque, like it's huge. It's like it's just sat on they're like big balls.
Yeah, it's got a
just-
mouth.
but it's not the tip. It's got a mouth on the front.
Yeah, like the tip is like the top of its head.
Right.
like
it's
a
its
whale.
hat.
Like
Yeah.
Toad
Yeah.
from Mario.
like it's hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hat or Toad.
But
from
no, it's got
Mario,
like
yeah.
a gross little mouth. It's like,
Yeah,
The
and
mouth's
it's
just
like
on the shaft.
so like gross and weird and shocking. And that was the moment where I was like, "This is this is an Ari Aster movie."
yeah.
Right.
think
Nobody does it quite like Ari.
I did. I think I outwardly exclaimed when it happened because I was just not expecting it at all, and it's like, oh! And that's when Jeeves comes back in.
Yeah, Jeeves bursts in through the window of like a third story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to
floor.
figure out.
Stabs him in the balls
Yeah, and
repeatedly.
he just like Drax in Guardians, just like just screaming,
They're shooting
It's
it over and over,
So funny.
and then the penis Starship Trooper stabs him in the top of the head.
That's right. Yeah.
and then Beau just I think falls down the stairs.
Yeah, he falls down the stairs and he goes to apologize to
Yeah.
his mom.
Now, this may be a dumb question, but was that a practical giant penis monster or was that CGI?
That was CG, definitely.
Okay.
It was all
Maybe the
CG.
balls might have been practical.
Yeah, they could have been
Something
love
for him to like
sacks.
stab.
Could have been
Okay.
beanbag chairs.
Yeah,
I can't tell anymore.
Yeah, film.
It's film's
come
too
a
good
long
now.
way. No,
It's amazing. It's amazing.
big
This is going to be
penises.
compared to Jurassic Park.
They should have this in the AMC ad with Nicole Kidman on the door.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
she's like it shows
Movies
her
make
looking-
us feel like we're watching a big penis.
Yeah, and then it shows the big penis monster.
Yeah.
Um,
They make us, our heroes, feel like part of us.
you ever been stabbed in the balls? So we're getting to the end of our Beau is Afraid talk here. One just little moment that I remember that really made me laugh. My favorite like practical gag was when his neighbor like slides a single piece of paper like 50 feet.
That was great. I
that
was
was
wondering how they
awesome.
did that.
Yeah.
Because they track it with the camera and it lands. Like, obviously, there's some like trickery happening. But, like,
Yeah,
that was a really
That was
impressive
cool.
shot. Yeah,
was
I
just
remember.
like-
yeah, because in that scene, like he keeps getting notes under his door in his apartment complex. Like, turn
be
your
cool-
music down.
Turn
Yes,
music down
and
when he
it's
has no
playing
music.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he keeps getting these notes like, please turn the music down. People are trying to sleep, and it's still not him. And then that just keeps happening overnight. And then like this one note shoots all the way down his hallway, right
It
to the
just
foot of
gets
his bed.
slid in, yeah, and then it's just that was really impressive. And also like there's so many little things that maybe I will watch this again one day because like the fact that he has his bed set up that he can turn his head from the bed and see through the bedroom through to the front door.
Yeah.
I feel like is like at the same time, like that's because of his anxiety, he needs to see what's happening, but also that's even more anxiety inducing
Yeah, it's
because you can
terrifying.
see all the way to the front door.
Yeah.
Like that's weird. That's weird. And like he doesn't have it decorated and stuff like very much. And like there's constant screaming and cacophony and music. And like it's like how the Safdie brothers put in voices of people that aren't there for
Yeah.
scenes to just disorient you. That's the like world that Beau lives in.
Yeah.
When he picks up the fucking monitor with the shoe in it, it's so
He's
funny.
using it.
I feel like the shot we're talking about it's really early on in the movie, and to me that was the first shot where I'm like, okay, what reality? Like, what are the rules of this universe? You know, because clearly that would not happen in real
Yeah.
life, and so, but I feel like every scene up till then obviously is a little weird and off,
Yeah.
and heightened, but it's not like so like almost just airplane-esque.
Yeah. This is before it really gets over
yeah,
the top, like guy
physics.
hanging
Well, I
out
mean,
above his
that's-
bathtub and
That's
stuff.
true, yeah. But that guy did like just scream and chase him into the apartment building.
Yeah.
Like,
That was crazy.
that shot where he
Yeah.
like drops the soup or something. He's like, "It's too hot," and he looks up and he's like so tatted, and then it directly 180 shot of Beau just like running down the street towards him, and it's like you're like, I'm scared of him. Is that our protagonist?
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else y'all want to bring up about the movie before we wrap this? Yes.
Yes, I just want to talk about Nathan Lane and how
Yes,
much I love
again.
him saying,
Oh
"You're
my
not
God.
healed, my dude."
Not healed, my dude.
He's so hokey. He's just
Yeah, I love him. Like, see, I was like, because I didn't know anything about this movie.
Uh-huh.
I hadn't seen any trailers or anything. And I saw Nathan Lane. I'm like, oh, it's Nathan Lane. Cool.
Were you also like that when you saw the back of Bill Hader?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Like, because he calls his house after, just contact his mom. That's when like a random UPS driver picks up the phone.
Is that Bill Hader?
And then you see
Yeah.
him on the news, and he has his back to the camera, but it's 100% just Bill Hader.
That's so funny. I had no idea. People were laughing in the theater. I'm like, I guess that is a funny bit.
Yeah, because like it's just his voice, and like he turns his head a little bit, and you see enough. It's like, is that Bill Hader?
Yeah, right.
And you
It was
just
so
don't
weird.
see his face.
The UPS guy was really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, because he picks up the phone. And he's like, "There's a woman here. Like her head's been crushed by a."
I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah, but he's like, maybe you dialed the wrong number. Like you should try that number, and then like maybe it's the wrong number, and then Beau calls. Then the UPS guy picks up. I'm so sorry.
Well,
That's all. That's
It's funny. There's
My
like so much
dude.
funny stuff in the movie too. I liked it.
everyone, let us know down in the comments whether you liked the movie if you saw it. Also, if you agree or disagree with any of our takes on the film,
Or if you have no clue what we're talking about.
what do you think the movie's about? Yeah, if you have no clue what we're talking about, just let us know down in the comments.
Rick, are you gonna see it?
Rick, you gonna see it?
I was asleep this whole time. What happened?
We're talking about a movie.
Rick was making the
Rick,
same face I was
go back to
making during
bed.
the movie, going like this.
But Rick, before you go back to bed, we do have to go into our next segment. Charlotte, you're welcome to stay, but you can also get the hell out if you have no interest. It's Simpin with Survivor. This week, we're talking about Survivor. All right, Charlotte's staying.
I mean, how long is it gonna go?
10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know.
You started saying 5 and then you doubled it.
It's 5, 10, 20, 40 minutes.
All right. Hot damn! Welcome to Simpin with Survivor, our bi-weekly Survivor recap segment here on the Funhaus /Filmhouse podcast today. So, Charlotte, guess what you've missed in the last 2 weeks? It's been insane.
I don't know how to
Yeah.
guess. I've watched
You
one
don't have
episode
to.
of Survivor.
In the last 2 weeks, you've missed 14 days of Survivor.
Yeah.
Don't let me be a fly on the wall. I'll just observe.
Yeah.
So-
and I'll ask questions if I feel I
Of
should.
course.
So essentially, we've had 2 episodes. In the first episode, Matt Blankenship got sent home. So
Yep.
that
Half the showmance.
half of the Manny showmance. So there was a showmance this season. Matt and Franny were an item. Okay, and
Two
they-
dweebs.
Two dweebs, and everyone knew that they had to break them up because they're too powerful as an item.
Mm-hmm.
So Franny was heartbroken to see that Matt got sent home.
There were tears.
There were tears. Matt knew that he didn't. He figured out that he was given a fake idol. Remember that?
Right.
What?
Yeah, someone gave him a fake idol.
Gave him a fake idol,
They-
Charlotte.
yeah, so he thought for a while he thought that he was safe, but then he kind of figured out that there's fake idols in play.
Yeah, he
Mine is
assumed he
fake.
probably had a fake one.
Yeah, so
And it was him, or was it Jam Jam that was probably going to get
Jam Jam
tossed out
almost
too?
got tested out. Which okay,
Again.
I was going to ask you because Lauren had her weird steal a vote or something.
Yeah,
or
she
you have to
control somebody.
You have to vote how I want, and she controlled Jam Jam or something, right?
I can't remember who she controlled. I forget Lawrence in the show a lot of the
All I
time.
know is that it had no effect.
Yeah.
her whole thing had no effect on the final tally.
Essentially
so.
wasted it. Yeah.
Now, the best part, though, Charlotte, I know that you're going to think that this part's really good, okay? Is the best part, I think, of the season so far. The hardest I laughed was there was a competition this last week where it's people having to stand, and it's like an endurance
It looks
competition.
extremely difficult.
Where you have to stand on these little pegs, and it's really hard, and it's the last person standing on the peg.
Yeah, Charlotte,
the
picture
tiny
there's
pegs.
like 2 boards standing parallel to each other.
I'm picturing it.
Yeah, and there's like these 2 like kind of slats on each side because you do climbing, so it's kind of like handholds, but it's just something for you to stand on.
Yeah, but so like little pieces of your foot are on there, and it's
Yeah.
really hard to stand.
But you have to keep getting lower and lower, and they get smaller and smaller. So you just less of your foot on this thing
So are
you
you
have to
like
hold up.
on either side of this plank?
Yeah.
With it between your legs?
It's like
No, it's like on the side of you. There's one to the left, one to the
there's
right.
one on the left, one on the right. So you're like wedging yourself into this thing, trying to stand up.
Yeah.
That part doesn't matter. The most important
Sounds
part,
easy.
it does, but after a while it gets harder. But the funny part is
no.
that it was down to 2 people,
Uh-huh.
and Danny and Lauren,
Danny
I
and
think.
Lauren, yeah,
And
who were a
then
team up
and then
until
at some point, and they're all sitting there concentrating, and then Danny just goes, "Hey Jeff,"
Yeah.
and Jeff's the host,
The
Jeff
host.
Probst, and then he goes, "Yeah," and then Danny just
He
farted.
just rips ass.
and everyone's like, what the fuck? Including the Lauren who's up
was
there
really
too.
funny.
It was hilarious. And then Jeff just goes, nice. You know? And then and Danny's like, oh.
And then he loses.
Yeah, and then he lost.
He loses like 30 seconds later.
That was so awesome. Though.
It was so funny. Oh my god.
Wow.
There's a couple moments this last episode where it's just like they made me laugh quite a bit.
What were the other ones?
Like, I mean, there's that challenge where it's a net
Oh,
over
yeah,
mud
and
where
Carolyn is in
it's
the
like
net.
twisted. You have to get in the net and like twist through it, untwist it, and crawl through the mud to get to the other side.
Oh, I
like
hate
horribly
it.
claustrophobic. But as soon as I saw it, I'm like, there's no way Carolyn's getting through this thing. And then
This woman is insane, and
Yeah.
then she is terrible at challenges. Just and not only just terrible, it's like she makes a big show of how terrible she's like. Oh, I can't do it. Oh God! And then like so everyone else is just getting through it
Yeah.
pretty quickly, but then she's just in the mud, just being like, what?
yeah, she's just in this net going, ah!
Yeah, and then her partner is just like really like innocent, feeble little kid in the side going,
I'm also very capable.
"You can do it, Carolyn. You got this." Like
Yeah,
as
like-
quiet as possible.
Yeah, but he's like
And he's
always
sick.
been kind of like a big player in this game, I feel like.
Uh-huh.
And he's stuck with Carolyn in this challenge. And otherwise, Carolyn's been great outside the challenges. But him just standing there going, "You're doing great, Carolyn," while she's laying in the mud, trapped in a net, just going, "Ah!"
Well, and he's been
So
puking.
funny.
He's literally
What?
super sick the whole time. So
Yeah.
you can tell he doesn't want to get in. He's like, we already lost this, so don't make me. I'm all sick. Don't make me get in this mud.
Yeah.
Carolyn, just kind of sit there. So he's just like, please, yeah, Carolyn, you got this. And then finally she gets through it, and there's no hope for them. But he's just like, okay, I got to go in the mud, I guess. So he's just going through the motions of it, and then he gets out.
By that
you know?
time, it's over.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
so
when
funny.
it showed him sick, it like showed him he had a hood over his head, like a hoodie on, just crawling through the sand. I was like, who is that? And they just crawled into a bush and then just like,
Oh yeah, he pukes everywhere.
oh my god, somebody's horribly sick right now.
There's not much more to talk about. I mean, the fart was the big thing that I wanted
Yeah.
to cover
Yeah,
this
I wanted
week.
to
Yeah,
address
that's
it.
it.
Also, the title of the episode, you remember what it was?
I don't actually.
It was Don't Get Cocky, Kid, which was something Kane says.
Oh,
you know
that's
what movie
Indiana
that's
Jones.
What is that? Indiana Jones? Oh,
from? It's Star Wars.
oh.
Yeah. So when they're in the Millennium Falcon and Luke's like, I got one. And Han's like, great kid, don't get cocky. Because
Right.
Kane's a big dumb nerd.
That's right.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
He's always talking about like, oh, this is like D&D and
There's
stuff.
magic
like,
idol spells and
This
stuff.
this belongs in a museum.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
From Star Wars.
Yeah,
It's a
Star Wars.
trap.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Okay.
you're talking about.
Okay.
Well, if you guys want to talk about season 3 of Love Island, like I'm game for that.
Oh, Simpin for Love
really?
Island?
With Montana?
Yeah.
I'm deep into that season.
I'm not that deep, but I just got to episode like 6. They just added 2 new girls to the villa.
Yeah.
Is this a new
Olivia.
Not Olivia. I'm not that far yet.
Well, no, I thought it was the 2 new girls.
Tyne
anyway.
Lexi.
Tyne Lexi. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
her
can't
name is-
believe we're watching
My
the
name
same
is Tyne
season of Love.
Lexi.
Yeah.
Well, Patrick recommended it.
Yeah, that's a great season.
I just love that. Just a general reality TV note. What they decided to keep in because there's this one guy early on, Harley, who sucks.
Uh-huh.
And like every single bit that he's involved in, he just is just showing his whole ass.
Uh-huh.
And he's just such a dumb idiot. And it's like, how does anyone? And then like as soon as it comes time for him to go home, because he's left out in the uncoupling, everyone's like, I feel like I lost my best mate, haven't I? And then like another woman, the most normal woman there, she's like, I just feel like he was the most like me and this place is not going to be the same without him. And I'm like, what are they talking about? And then I'm like, oh, they didn't show any of the like things of them just hanging out.
Yeah.
But then he's actually like apparently like a fun, nice dude. She's like, we would eat breakfast together because he's the only one that also liked porridge. And I'm like, why didn't I see any of
We
this?
had good banter and good chat.
Yeah, good. Well, he didn't have crack. I think
Yeah,
is the
we have
problem.
good crack, yeah.
He was fit.
You-
Not really though.
What? Fit?
You're talking about the woman who disarms bombs for a living?
Yes, the
Whoa.
explosive
Yeah, she's
ordnance
the only-
disposal.
she's
and
the only normal
she's
one.
She's normal, and even among normal people, she's extraordinary. But like too far an overcorrection from everyone else, because she'll be like, well, I was positioned in Afghanistan, and I naturally, I'm a bit afraid to show skin because of the, the bodily autonomy and freedom of women there. And one goes, yeah, right, love, that's so crazy. Anyway, I don't think Brendan fancies me. It's so funny in Discord. I'm like, somebody get this woman out of here. But she's loosening up, and she seems to be enjoying
Right, I
herself.
think
She
more.
went on some dates with Prince Harry.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Don't tell me that.
Well, it's a TMZ thing. You wouldn't know it, you know?
Before the show?
Huh? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So she's okay.
Ryan, I
What?
think
I'm sorry.
for the next podcast you produce, it's now going to have to be 2 segments. There's going to be Love Island one for 15 minutes,
Yes,
and
yeah.
the Survivor one.
Right, yeah.
I've only. It's
That's
funny
half
though.
the
And,
podcast.
and Lego Masters.
I've only
the
seen
Play-Doh one, Rick.
Some stupid Play-Doh shit. I don't remember, man.
It's called like Pooping It or something.
some shit, yeah.
Pooping It.
I've only seen season 3 of Love Island, so it's funny you just brought that one. This is the one you're watching. It's
I've seen a lot of season 1 and then like a bit of a later one. It is great because you start to like really read into it. You're like,
I'll have to check it out.
That show rocks.
I gotta
it's
check it out.
awesome. Yeah.
Um,
Because the lads, those have pool parties. And
Were
stuff.
we? Oh yeah. The only other thing about the Survivor,
Survivor,
yeah.
season is that Brandon got out. You know, that was a pretty cool
That was
blindside.
smart.
Yeah,
Big
from
move
Danny.
there.
Danny played his idol and negated 6 votes for himself for Franny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Franny, they were gonna get Franny out immediately, but then now she's staying, and Brandon, the ex-football player, is out.
Who's
Big
very
blindside.
he's strong, like very physically capable, was always really good at challenges. And they're like,
You don't want that.
yeah, they're like, this
Right?
guy's really good.
Well,
Let's all get rid of him.
they kind of did it at the perfect time because at the beginning you do want him to be on your team. You want him to stay so that your team doesn't have to go to tribal because you
Yeah.
win everything. But once
Right.
they get to the merge, he's exactly the person you want to get out because he's
Yeah.
going to win every single challenge. If you don't get
Which
those
is how
guys
this
out.
one started. Like him and Kane were just immediately winning
Right.
the immunity challenge
Exactly.
until they got to the end. Then they couldn't hack it.
Wow.
Well, Charlotte, you have anything to say about this Survivor?
No, I and besides Love Island, I don't watch a lot of reality TV. I'm
Okay,
mostly
that's
just
unfortunate.
watching SVU these days.
Interesting.
So if you ever want to
Very
talk about
good.
that,
All right, we'll have an SVU segment next time you're on.
I was watching an episode earlier about a woman that gets burned alive.
Jesus fuck.
That's awesome.
Real quick, were you the one telling me that somebody put somebody else's blood inside of them,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah. He needed a blood test to avoid a paternity connection.
And he just
but then
At
he
Love
accident-
Island?
Yeah. But then he accidentally took the blood of like a cold case pedophile.
yeah, right. So then
And it's
that
like
made
so
it
the
worse.
the blood that he used that wasn't his got him in for an even bigger.
yeah,
Oopsie.
Jesus.
Watched episodes last night with Gary Cole and Stephen Lang.
Oh, I didn't know Gary Coleman was on
Gary Cole
SUV.
right? The guy from Office Space, is that his name? Gary
I
Cole?
don't remember.
And then he goes, yeah, that guy.
Uh,
Maybe it's not Gary Cole. Gary Coleman, I have not seen in the show.
No,
Just
probably
as
not.
possible,
Spot
but I think I'll know.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for watching the Funhaus Podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this Beau's Afraid and Simpin for Survivor segment. We'll see you next week. Lindsay's going to have a podcast planned for us, and thanks for being on the show, y'all.
Of course. It's
Thank
hot
you.
in here.
Yeah, it's
It is.
toasty.
I know. I'm going to go outside and cool off.
You guys want to go catch a matinee? of
Yeah,
Beau's
let's
Beau's
go watch
Afraid?
Beau.
Let's go see
Yeah.
Beau's Afraid again.
Rick?
Peace out, everyone. Rick, you're coming with us.
I'm down. Let's do it.